And public wage policy, this will be discussed this week. We have SRC today.
In fact, unfortunately, I was not able to go because the three committees that was invited, ours was included. People are now in, what do you call it?
In Mombasa or Naivasha. Okay.
Simba Lodge.
So, Senator, let me ask you this, because wage bill, 20.9% roughly is how this has been growing. It's a conversation we've had for a while now as a country. Those numbers are not changing. We want more money to the counties because a lot of this money is anyway going to the wage bill. And then you have the allowances, the sitting allowances that again off the pay slip, but also just part of the problem. Will we find a solution soon to this wage bill issue?
I see the tragedy away. I see it forward, and it's very sad that those who share that very money, those who sit and say, look, we have 1.3 trillion. We have to share it among services. Education has to get it. We have to do our roads, our defense, all this. Those are the people, the parliament, the senators and the MPs are the ones saying, first of all, when you sit, remove 50%. That's devolution. Okay? And then this balance, let's see. We call it, in other words, voodoo economics. They are not themselves suggesting how we can reduce the wage bill because they are actually the perpetrators of high illegal earnings. If we do not deal with the wage bill, and we have to render services, there will be no money to invest, leave alone to share to the counties. So unless Parliament itself comes up with ways, specific, tough measures to reduce the salaries so that we have savings, so that we have investments, so that we grow the economy, then we will go around in a circle of poverty. And they should know it. If they don't, then somebody should lecture them on these things.
And Senator, we should see legislators come out more vocally against the sitting allowances. Senator, let's move it forward. Sitting allowances, because this has continued to be a nightmare.
Let me tell you.
And we don't see you as vocal, that is legislators, the leadership, because the beneficiaries.
The one time two people understand the mathematics that's here.
And like
one at the level of Bilokero. You remember there was a time they just poked holes into. You see, the good thing about we know some of us don't try to poke holes in everything he says. Most of what he says is not factually right. You know, he talks about a parliament which he refuses to acknowledge, that is Jubilee, including its executive, which directs everything. We have a parliament which is a mob. Once it is set out to do something, it's when the Senate takes its time. That's why the Senate now, you know there's this crisis in terms of mediation. That Senate said, no, this money is not enough for counties. You need to up the bill from 250, I think 250 something to 270 something. So we now have gone into mediation to try and see, because the Senate takes its time to thoroughly go to the proposal. It's not Jubilee, we defend the interests of counties.
All right,
but they
to my question.
They have a National Assembly that is a mob. Well, you see, you were talking about the allowance issues, huh? But you see, when a lawyer says those allowances, those earnings are illegal, they might be exorbitant, but they're not illegal. they are supported by statute, and you have to realize they're supported by the SRC. These allowances were negotiated by the SRC. You remember when the SRC came and had a discussion at the very onset, together with the Vice Deputy President at that time, the Parliamentary Service Commission. And they decided, okay, yes, you've slashed a few things, and then there were one or two things that were added to members of Parliament. So it took the earnings to about 800,000 taxable. So when you come and hear this kind of rumors that they just shun out, even right now, all the allowances have been rationalized. We take the same travel allowance like anybody else. There used to be specific travel allowances for members of Parliament. Right now they've been rationalized across the sector of the public service. So when they come here and just shun things because they've heard it from some gallery somewhere, it's wrong and factual.